What's up, Go enthusiasts? I just got back from the 2023 US Go Congress and I had so much fun. I got to talk to so many people I normally only get to talk to online, and even some people I never really get to talk to online, like Kim Ji-seok. You can see me in the center there. Kim Ji-seok is the guy standing with his hands against the table, and I'm looking at a person, one of my friends, who was translating for us. I asked Kim Ji-seok a few questions. If you want to hear the answer to those questions, I will be referencing them in future videos as I cover pro commentaries, because I asked him about what it's like to play World Championship, how it feels, what some certain situations emotionally are like as the player. It was a very, very interesting conversation, and I had plenty of those. I had so much fun, and I also had some very, very interesting games as I played in the Masters division of the Go Congress. I learned a lot, and I got to play some very skilled players like Taylor Shu, a Taiwanese one-dan professional who came to play the US Masters. It was a great game. Let's dive right in. I played black. Taylor Shu played white. I started with 4-4. She started with 3-4s. She played the diagonal moves, a thick start. She in general had a pretty thick style. Played attachment here and a 3-space away. I'm not really a fan of this move because when black pushes here, white sort of has a hard time figuring out how to handle those 2 stones. In the game, she jumped. If we could have gone back here and white would just jump 1 space, then when black pushes, white would definitely not just jump again here, but play the tiger's mouth, right? So in my opinion, if this Joseki happens against you, you should jump 1 space, and black should not push there, but do something else. When it happened like this, I thought that that 1 stone at L3 is now sort of over-concentrated. It's too thick. So in my mind, the strategy to do when someone is over-concentrated, too thick, too slow, you should play away. And white played away as well. I played to the left side. It's not really a great move, but it's okay. And tiger's mouth here. So I figured, oh, she's playing on the bottom side, then I'll play on the right side. It should be good for me because the bottom side, it should be small when there's already a 3rd line stone there. She went to the right side. I approached, and she played this annoying move. In the game, I played bamboo because I keep on advocating for it in my YouTube videos, and I could hardly face myself if I didn't play bamboo, and it turned out to be right. But in this position, it's not really right at all, and she can easily just peep and jump here. This is expected by me, but I didn't realize here just how useless my bamboo stone is. And of course, white space is quite nice. Even black is not locally alive in the corner. This is definitely not an ideal variation. It would have been better to play not the bamboo, to play tiger's mouth here. But this move has a problem, and the reason why I didn't want to play here is it goes towards the bottom side. You can see this L3 stone is now clearly valuable for white, and I didn't want that stone to be valuable. I wanted that stone to be useless. So that's why I played the bamboo, but it wasn't really right. I can be more flexible. That L3 stone, we can admit that it's valuable at this point, and just play. The value of stones is always changing, right? You just play as you should at the current position all the time. All right, in the game, I continue in the bottom left, play a knight's move here. It's because if I play some other random move, then she can look to lean on that area and then show that this bottom side really is pretty big, right? So if I play from here, it's sort of like border of two Moyo's position. Not really, but it's enlarging my left side as I look to reduce her bottom. Then she goes to the upper right. I play a descend here, a jump into the corner, and when she jumps, I play an attach underneath. This is not really my style. In fact, I've hardly ever played like this. But the reason why I did it in this game is because white is very, very thick everywhere. You can see white's group on the bottom side, that's very strong. The group on the right side, that's very strong. Group here, group there. All of white's stones are just taking very slow steps and making sure that it's still good shape. That means that if I start some fights, I'm not going to really have any additional targets as we run. I'm never going to have an extra forcing move, something like that, against a weak group. So I didn't want to fight. I wanted to just make sure that I gain territory quite quickly, gather a lot of efficiency, and if the fight doesn't break out and you're thick, then often you just end up low on points. So that's why I played like this. However, second line moves are not really the most efficient for gaining thickness. So there was probably a better way to do this for black than spending 2 moves jumping on the second line. But the strategy was probably not entirely wrong. She went to lean on my left side. I thought that this was a little strange as well when it happened, because um, it prevents her from ever doing any kind of invasion, anything like that. And it's not exactly clear why white needs stones in the center. Then she played the shoulder hit here. So I pushed up like this and played a knight's move. Once again, I'm planning on playing on the side. Yeah, the reason why I didn't play originally the push on the side is simply because I thought after this one I'll just be able to play on the top side better. That's all. I don't really care about the center at all in this kind of position, and I'm even giving her more stones in the center because how much can white really get there? It's pretty difficult to activate that kind of influence. And even I continue to take side moves like this. However, this is not really right. And she punishes me when she plays here. She shows, if white really gets the fifth line on the bottom side, that's not small, even if she already had a stone here. So I kind of still had the same inflexible thinking from the very beginning when L3 was played for the rest of the game, that, oh, you have a stone there that's like too thick, then I'm not going to play there forever and ever and ever and not even judge for myself whether the bottom side can be big. I just naturally left it for the rest of the game. It was not really a good strategy to allow my opponent to do anything they want in that area forever. In fact, probably instead of sliding here, it would have been better to use the fact that that stone is thick, but go to the bottom side, something like this, or even attach. Actually, I think is a pretty good move to show, hey, if white wants more strength there, that's fine. That's that's good. White was thick, it was slow, and I want to just break the bottom side. The bottom side can be interesting. Instead, I went like this, and this knight's move, you can see it's like a big difference from black attaching, potentially breaking this whole area, to white looking to naturally take it all. And in the game, I just ignored and went to reduce the top. Probably I could reduce the bottom again instead, but I didn't want to play on the bottom, so I play on the top. And it was putting some pressure on cutting points as I did this. Actually, I think my reduction technique was pretty good here. She had a difficult time to attack this stone and show a clear direction she gains value. She attacked it from the left side to begin with, but then when I run to the right, I'm exposing a few cutting points of white, and it's going to be difficult to really put pressure on these black stones. She tried to jump here, so she is very thick everywhere, so she can make an attack. It would be good, but there's a problem with that move, which is that she doesn't actually really want to invest a lot of stones in that area. There's not really much potential for future territory. And when I peep here, connecting would also leave a couple cuts on the top side. So maybe if she connected here, I could even start by cutting this immediately. I'm not entirely sure, but in the game she blocked on the top side like this to prevent that sort of thing. But it just means I have even more potential to do stuff in the center now. I just run my group one more time like this, and I'm starting to make some area. It would be too much for white to go here. I can play like this, and that one stone looks very, very lonely. So already this black group is looking quite healthy. She plays on the bottom side. Once again, I have to deal with, hey, this area is actually looking pretty big now, isn't it? I play a peep here, she connects, and then I just live. It was possible, instead of living, to play some move in the center taking care of that group. But when she plays here, I'm not locally alive, I would have to run out my group somehow. And then I was afraid that she would be able to launch an attack. The fact that I'm not locally alive will mean that she can show some forcing moves against this, or forcing moves against that can have a double value. That's what I was scared of, so that's why I just go to immediately live. Of course, this also means that the white group on that side is not 100% alive either, or at least its base is a step smaller. But it means that white can play the first move in the center, capping my group on the top side. It was a good spot. And you can see the bottom side is looking to become quite large, but you can't panic and just jump in there. You have another group on the top side. So I handled this, I think, correctly by playing the knight's move here and Hane, and then reduce from this side as well. You can see this is the problem with white taking a large expansive center. It's not that you can break it, it's that if white has to take it again and again and again, you just get a whole bunch of bonus stuff. So at this moment, white didn't want to just defend it again. She played forcing move here and then cut like this, which makes sense. It's trying to attack my group, leave that in problematic position. But I had, I think, a pretty nice sequence here of my own to Atari, push a few times, and then get this squeeze. You can see white becomes something of a bad shape, but black has a bunch of cuts left. There's cuts over here, some cuts over here. The good news is black has sente, so black runs to the left side. This cut, it gained a lot of potential thickness again, but the fact that black got to run their group to the left side, even I'm starting to build into the center on the left side myself a little bit, it shouldn't be a bad result for black either. And she played the diagonal move here. I played a diagonal move backing off like this. This is the best way to connect out into the center. And she played this move, which is very nice. It looks to block the bottom side and push into my left, leave some pressure on the center group's connection to the left. In the game, I played this diagonal move here, and she protected her cut like this. That was actually quite a good move by Taylor, and I could have cut here myself. In the game, I thought it was not really possible, because here, if black blocks, there's cut like this, and you can see in this variation, black has only 2 liberties and no way to run and gain a liberty. Black is dead. This would be a big mistake. However, when we come to this moment, black doesn't necessarily need to block. You can pause the video and find the crazy move that my AI suggested to me. AI says you can play diagonal move here. It's better than any other move because it means that we have an actual punch on the topside group. So after this, the descend here is really going to make it possible for black to win a capture race on the top side. And if black can steal away all that territory, suffering a bit more in the center is fine, as long as we don't die, which I wouldn't. If white answers on the top side, then black can block here and cut like this, and you can see that my stones in the center are not going to be losing any liberty race. So that was a really sharp sequence AI suggested to me. But in the game, I simply played the diagonal, and I pushed here one time, forcing white to save those 2 stones before coming back to connect. That gives me a potential route onto the top side, so she defends like this. And I play here, because we're entering an endgame at this moment. It was also possible to push like this. In this case, we're not really entering an endgame. I'm like gonna have to defend my group in the center as I try to dive into the bottom as best I can. In the game, I chose to do it like this instead, because when white answers, which is sensible, I planned to just play the jump into the bottom left corner. This is a really, really, really big move. And the meaning of my bumping move here is that when she answers again, and I would have a jump threat if she didn't, I've managed to gain sort of a point and a cutting point. What am I talking about? Instead of bumping first, if I just jump without doing that, then white can block this way, or even maybe do something better. But this by itself, already you can see, compared to the game, white's blocking shape in the center is much better, and it's 1 point less reduced, right? So in the game, exchanging this, it gains me a little bit for the endgame. And then I play the diagonal, and she answers, and diagonal, and she answers. This transition into endgame is looking good for me. However, I mess it up. Actually, this is the point in the game where it's as close as it's ever been. White is leading by 2 points right now. And in the game, I play this, peep, and the knight's move. This is a big mistake. I thought that this would be forcing because I was going to be brave and try to reduce into this white territory, but that would come at a ko that I have to win if I want to do that kind of thing. And there's other important things on the board at the moment, so I can't be fighting a ko over there. Additionally, not only was this not sente, but she punished me by showing me why what I did in the center was also bad. She played attachment here. I reconstructed this after the game. This isn't the order that it happened. That would be a blunder. In the game, it went like this, and she cut that way. The problem is black has nothing to do in the center. Before I do anything like that, if I play some big move like this one, then if she would try to cut, I had planned to do the same sequence, And you can see in this case, I can break into the center a little bit and reduce that territory, sort of show some cutting problems for white, that sort of thing. However, in the game, because I exchanged this move already, I solidified white. And since I solidified white, she could capture these 3 stones, not in that sequence, but this shape, almost for free, almost no repercussions. Even the way that I sacrifice them, once it comes to this moment, I should be playing here, because then I can reduce this point. This matters more. You can assume later in endgame, this is probably going to be my sente, right? This way, black has another point, and black has also reduced the white points more than in the variation that I gave. Even black has no problems potentially in the corner later, which we'll see as well. So this was just a disaster for black in the bottom right. And afterwards, I just go to fix my left center. If I hadn't played anywhere here and played on the right side, then she would be able to push through, break into my left center while threatening my center group. And that kind of thing is always very awkward to answer efficiently. Like, how much do I really need to make eyes versus how much do I need to defend my territory? So I chose to just play this big move and basically hope that she wouldn't play on this side and do anything great, but she played here immediately and did something great by making this ko. This ko is basically going to be for the life of my 2 stones or the life of her stones on the side. And that's really big. That's a really big ko. That's a lot bigger than what I did on the bottom side, that's for sure. So you can see that this move, not only did it lose something in the center, but it also was just slow. It didn't gain as much as playing in the left center would or on the right side here. It was a very, very terrible endgame. In the game, she plays this move as her co-threat. And while deciding whether I should answer or not, I counted. And I decided that if I would answer this co-threat, I would be losing by a few points, which is true. So if I play here, then this would be the sequence that happens, something like that. You can see that winning the right side was like a lot of points. And it should have been more than the upper left here. However, because I counted, I didn't take the good trade when I had it available. And instead I answered, that means that I have to answer again here. And this makes this ko significantly more painful for me. The fact that she can play this push on the second line makes it almost like a picnic ko, meaning that she would hardly lose anything if she loses this ko now. It would have been much, much worse if I could win the ko before she got to exchange this Atari and Sente. So now this ko is going to be really hard for white to lose anything in, but I still want to keep it going because I understand that I need to try to catch up into the game a little bit. But I keep counting things and I keep realizing I'm behind in variations and doing things passively. This move, I would have much, much rather done this one. This is what I was looking for earlier. This way, if I just connect, I die, but I was planning to start a ko like this, make a complicated ko to break into the white territory on the bottom. But I realized there's basically going to be a double ko here. And either way, if I win either ko, I think I'm behind, which is true. So I just played it passively like this. And basically what I'm trying to do is wait out all of her ko threats. That's the thought at the time. If I just play my Sente endgame everywhere, and I don't lose very much in the Sente endgame, then eventually she won't have any ko threats that are big enough for this, and I'll win this ko for free. That was my hope. That was my dream. But it's not going to happen because she has many, many, many ko threats in the bottom left. She's pushing and pushing a few times. I am playing all sorts of endgame as co-threats that shouldn't lose very much, but she's also just playing endgame as co-threats. So that shouldn't lose very much either. We're basically both continuing this ko for free, but at the end here, you can see she has a cut like this, and she has so many co-threats in this area, it's going to be impossible to wait for a time that white wouldn't have any severe enough co-threat. Even I realized in the game after this cut was played that my co-threat here, this tiger's mouth for white's block, was a mistake because it lost me a liberty. We're going to see that as the ko resolves. We played a few more co-threats. When this cut was played, I won the ko. is not because this is small, but rather because even if I would try to save here, at this moment I can't save this stone because she Ataris. So if we go all the way like this, I'm just going to have to give her something anyway. And even this is threatening to cut off my group in the center. Best to just give it all up right now, and at least get some compensation by winning the upper right. Then she plays this move in Sente and blocks here. And she's winning this endgame comfortably. I don't really think I put in the endgame in the right order or the co-threats in the right order when I recorded this game. You can see here she made a Seki here since I took the wrong endgame in the center earlier. And this obviously wouldn't be Seki if black had another eye. It's Seki because if black Ataris, white can play the throw-in immediately, and that would be an equal position to if white doesn't play the throw-in terms of points. We just finished off the endgame here. I couldn't count the captured stones, so I didn't know how close or not close it was. I didn't realize that it was 12 points difference. We had a lot of captured stones in our bowls. And eventually, she wins by 12 points. It was a good game. I learned a lot. I had this idea about that L3 stone that just was totally wrong. The reason why, I thought that if you become too thick, that means that my punishment should be to not play in that area ever, which is way too unflexible of an idea. Of course, the value of stones is always changing. And even if I think that somewhere is too thick and I shouldn't play there right now, I need to reconsider that later as the game continues and the story evolves over time. That's the main thing that I learned from this game. A bunch of other little fighting details as well. Thank you, Taylor Shu, for the game. That was fun. At the end, I went 1-6 in the U.S. Masters. Not a very good record. I'm not very proud of that one. Yeah, I definitely had chances in most of my other games. This is actually the game where I feel I got crushed the hardest. But I wanted to show it to you guys, so hopefully you can learn as much as I did. And I don't want to hide that I wasn't playing very well this tournament. I should show you all the mistakes that I was making. It was fun. Go Congress was so much fun. And I hope to see you back next week for my coverage of the Chunlan Cup World Championship Group Grand Finals that just happened. That was a lot of fun too. Make sure to like and subscribe to see it next week.